another 4 minutes. What should we do?
Play the
Run in a
Japanese theme
circle or
4 times.
something.
Hi, everybody.
Modrinth podcast. That'd be funny. We could like fight.
Yeah, we could have a little arena combat.
Give S netherite sword.
We could play Duck Duck Goose.
You don't have the uniform on.
What am I missing?
You have to put the hat on.
You're right. I took it off.
But
for a
then
sec
you
for
took the headset off. You can put the hat in the in any of the slots after.
I still have the headset on the head slot. I just have the.
It doesn't look like you do visually.
That's weird.
Yeah, it's in. That's because the frog hat is in the accessory slot.
Oh.
Can people hear me?
I'm assuming Prospector's in charge of the slides.
Yeah, I have slides.
Live in 1 minute. Oh my god.
1 minute.
Should we do a countdown? Like it's New Year's?
Sure.
That's 20 seconds left.
We do want to like introduce ourselves first, right?
Yeah, we'll do it.
6. So you, Prospector, Coolbot. Who else speaks?
I am.
Alright. So we can do like Prospector, Coolbot, Emma, and I.
I just got a notification from Google Calendar via Slack. I've never seen that before.
The integrations are crazy.
All right, all right, we're live. Welcome. This is the Modrinth Q&A session for this year. I'm Prospector. I do front-end web development on Modrinth.
Hi, I'm Coolbot. I'm the head of content moderation at Modrinth.
Hello, I'm Emma. I mainly do support, but I do some other dev stuff too.
Hey, I'm Fetch, or Francois on Discord. I do software development mostly on Modrinth servers.
Yes, and then here we have KCam, Jade, who are both content moderators, and Jasmine, who does our malware detector, and then Alex, who is also a backend developer. All right, this actually brings us right into our first question. How many people are now working for Modrinth? And I think we have a slide. Yeah, we have 14 right now. Most of the people are here today. I think geometrically might be here a little later. He woke up a little late. um, but yeah, this is the team. It's 14 of us right now. All right. This is a question we've gotten answered a lot. A lot of people seem to care about changing their skins more easily in the Modrinth launcher. And well, we're happy to announce that it's something we're actively working on right this moment. Here's an in development screenshot from just the other
Look,
day.
I'm on TV.
Yeah. Um, so yeah, we hopefully we'll be able to have this out in the next few weeks. I know we teased it a little while back, but we had to take it back to the drawing board a little bit and focus on making sure it's working how we wanted it to. So yeah. Uh, oh,
All right, so oh, wrong question.
this one. All right. What are some of the perks people get for subscribing to Modern Plus in the future? Since on the site it says, and much more coming soon. So we don't have like a ton like specifically laid out. However, we there's a feature that we will be talking about a little bit later that um, we'll tie into this answer. But another thing, we plan to add cloud backups to the app at some point, and I imagine we'll probably have some level of that a bit available for free, but you'll get more storage with Modern Plus. That's one of the things. Um, Next question. Would you consider adding a trending page for mods, resource packs, shaders, etc.? Yeah, this is definitely something we want to improve a lot because content discovery isn't quite how we would like it. Um, it right now, when you go to like the mods list, it's all just like the most downloaded, and it kind of just creates a feedback cycle of those getting more and more downloads because they're the first ones people see. Um, and we definitely have plans for improving this in the near future. Um, we just haven't gotten around to that quite yet, unfortunately. But yes, we're definitely considering that, and that's something we definitely want to do.
All right, so when are Modern servers coming for Europe? So we've had a lot of people asking. We still have a little bit of logistics and development work related to that, but we're really hoping to get Modern servers out in Europe before summer. So if you were wanting to make a server and you're in Europe before summer, definitely check back on that.
Um, yeah, Asia will probably also come at a certain point. But I think the first expansion outside of the US will probably end up being Europe. But yeah. Here we have Modrinth claimed in the past to feature unintrusive and privacy respecting ads, but currently it tries to load Google's tracking scripts. Can you comment on that? So yeah, obviously any form of advertising is a compromise, and we tried to do like we used ethical ads for a time and some other ad providers. Um, in the end, those didn't really they were not even like sustainable enough for like running the platform. And so for now, we are unfortunately having to use Google Ads, but it does have the big benefit that um, creators creators are pretty happy with the income that they get from it. Um, but of course, we'll always have Modrinth Plus as an alternative if because I understand. I mean, me personally, I don't like ads. Um, I'll always just buy a subscription to not have them.
You want me to get this next one?
Sure.
Will the internationalization efforts continue to move forward? This user previously contributed some translations on Crowdin, but the progress appears to have stalled. What are the future plans regarding internationalization? This is something that we have planned. Our front-end code actually already has technically the capability to do this. It's just a matter of there's still a good amount of work that needs to go into one, setting up the Crowdin, and two, finalizing all the code to make sure that it works. But it is something that we have planned. It's just not particularly high priority for us at this moment, because we can encourage people to use like Google Translate plugins on their browser and such like that.
Yeah, it's also worth noting that like basically every new feature that we're adding is built with like internationalization in mind. It's mostly a matter of having to go through and convert all the existing pages to support the framework, and yeah. All right. Cool, I'm gonna take.
So, what is the greatest difficulty in reviewing content? I think everyone here that's in content moderation or has previously been in content moderation might have a slightly different answer. But I think as a whole, I think the biggest issue is just knowing things. Like you have to know so much about the Minecraft community and about mods to know what's acceptable or normal, or if something has been taken from somewhere else. And I think that's why I'm happy we have a pretty good team of people who have like been around the Minecraft space for a very, very long time. Because just having an awareness of the community is like the biggest difficulty. And that's something you can only get with a lot of experience.
All right, next question. Oh, you want to take this one too?
Yeah, so will it ever be possible to create private projects without moderation approvable? Or without. So, if you are like sharing content, like a mod pack that you made with your friends, a lot of you have probably tried submitting that to Modrinth before and then realized you can't because you don't want to make a whole like mod pack page and like make it look nice and worry about getting approval to upload certain mods. And there's a couple of ways to answer this question. One is that no, in order to use Modrinth, you are going to have to do things the right way and follow the rules. But we are working on things like future projects to hopefully make sharing content with your friends easier in the future.
Let's see. Modern, this is going to be controversial, but is Botania a tech or magic mod, and why? Well, on
It's a tech
Modern,
mod.
it's marked as both a magic and a tech mod. So I think that
I
answers
think it's
that.
actually a decoration mod.
I think it's
Well,
a
yeah.
storage mod.
I think it is a decoration mod. I think that settles it.
Actually, remember back when we had the miscellaneous tab? That's it.
Yeah. Why did we ever have that? Let's see. It is inevitable for any project to have security vulnerabilities during its lifespan. What is the team's strategy to prevent those? I guess Coolbot, do you want to speak on like from the moderation standpoint?
Yeah, from a moderation standpoint, if you're asking about like mods that may run into security vulnerabilities, there are a couple things that we do to prevent that uh, by watching out for those sorts of things on the back end, and we try to get flagged about certain things. If we were made aware of a new vulnerability that might be affecting a lot of mods, we would try to implement that into our back end and be on the lookout proactively. The main way, though, that we uh, would be able to prevent something like this if a new vulnerability would be to appear would just by having the community help us by reporting it. So if you are made aware of something like this, make a report on the website. That's really our best line of defense is getting help from the community sometimes.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, we've had lots of reports, and sometimes people find things. Sometimes people just think that they find something that's a little suspicious, so we always look into it. And of course, Jasmine here works on our malware scanner, and so it catches a lot of stuff. And then in terms of like security vulnerabilities in the Modrinth platform, I mean that's something that we we take very seriously. And if you ever find anything, you're welcome to report it to us privately. Um,
Support
but
at modrinth.com.
yeah, support at modrinth.com. Um, yeah, and I mean, we take it very seriously, and we are always on the lookout for those sorts of things, especially in like new features. Um, yeah. I've noticed that PayPal/Venmo payment methods are regularly unavailable due to low funds. Why does this happen, and is there anything that can be improved to prevent this in the future? So yeah, this we try to keep like a reasonable amount of money in the PayPal account because we never know what payment method people are going to want to withdraw from, and it's not generally a good idea to keep a crazy amount of money in PayPal because it's not like FDIC insured and stuff. But usually we manage it pretty well. The reason that there were a few drainages lately was because we had some of our Modern servers nodes set up to be paid through PayPal, which was a mistake, and so it drained the PayPal account pretty dramatically. And unfortunately, PayPal takes like a week to process those payments from our bank to PayPal. So unfortunately, that meant that
Maybe
it was
we'll be back
unavailable
in
for a
stock
bit.
tomorrow.
Yeah. It I feel like it should be in stock by now, but is it not still?
I mean, I
I don't
think
know.
we activated the transfer on like Tuesday, Monday or Tuesday, so I'm hoping that it'll be available soon.
Okay. But yeah, we we got all those servers off of PayPal, so that won't be a problem anymore. Um, but we definitely are gonna be monitoring that to make sure that it stays stocked. And then this is probably the most asked question, surprisingly. Will downloadable worlds ever be available on Modrinth? And the simple answer to that is yes. We do plan for that. We've always planned for that. Um, and based on our roadmap, it probably will happen at some point in the near future, but it's not something we're currently working on at this exact moment, but it is on our roadmap for sure.
Something I'd like to tack onto that is that we want to eventually have not just worlds, but like everything you can imagine. This is maybe a very far in the future idea, but Modrinth will be a place for everything eventually. Eventually.
Yeah, modern fit everything app.
Oh God.
All right, here we have
Just gonna rename it to M.
yeah. Would you ever consider adding a self-hosting server feature to Modrinth app, plus an easy way to tunnel/port forward and custom IPs? This is something that we actually, I mean, we will be working on, and we have planned. Uh, we actually we actually hired the developer of WorldHost who's on our team, so it's something that we're definitely working on. Um, I think part of that is also going to be getting support for Modern servers in the Modern app. Um, oh wait, yeah, get Gaming 32 the role. We could get him up here. Um, but yeah, we also there's a lot of stuff to work on um, to getting like our server panel inside of the app, and not only to support Modern servers, but also so people can locally host their own servers directly in the Modern app. Um, yeah. Could there be a system for picking between multiple variants of the same release? So downloading a version would show options for a light or full version, for example. Um, this This has it's definitely something we thought about and it's been suggested a few times. Um, it does have some like UX problems with because generally we require that descriptions and gallery images and stuff represent the product that you're actually downloading. And if you have different versions of different variants in one project, then you have to describe all of those. And I don't know, it's definitely something that like we can, especially for like minor differences, um like just like different resolutions of a resource pack or something. Like it could make sense, but that's something that we're gonna have to think further about. But we're definitely aware of the issues that around not having that.
Yeah, it's something especially I think resource packs run into a lot. Resource packs don't have options in the same way that your plugin or your mod can have options to turn certain features off. Well, unless you're using a separate mod to enable that. So it is something that we want to look into making easier, especially for resource packs and data packs.
Cool, do you want to answer?
Yeah, so is there any way to have your project featured in the featured volumes or the Project of the Week collections that we put out on occasion? And basically, no. However, like, we all kind of have a hand in picking those. You know, us on the moderation team see about everything that's submitted to Modrinth, and when we find something we like or that would make a good social media post, really, we want to share that with the community and share some of the best stuff we see. Right now, we're not exactly open to bribes, but we are open to suggestions. So if you make something or if you see something that you think is really cool, you can let us know like on our Discord. Um, and if you're trying to like get into the project of the week, my advice would be to have a really good project page, have good visuals specifically, take high quality images of the content that you made, and if what you made is something like unique, uh, you have a good chance of getting in. And I think we'll try to be doing more features like that in the soon. More projects kind of like that soon to help feature more things from the community.
Okay. Next question is, does the team have any plans in the future to implement a comment section in the page for each project? It'd be cool to check out what people have commented about my projects and maybe reply back to them. Also, add support for social accounts and links in people's profiles, please. Such an essential feature, yet it's not implemented already. Yeah, regarding the last part, links in people's pages, that's definitely something we have planned and we just haven't really gotten around to yet. There's a lot of things like that. But I really hope that fairly soon, especially as we add more social features and stuff, I think it makes sense to add that. And then regarding comments, that's something that long term we plan to have some sort of like comment or review system because it would be nice for people to be able to collect their feedback directly through Modrinth. But it does come with a pretty intense moderation burden in order to keep it safe and useful for everyone. Um, but so right now, I think the best solution is just to link your Discord server and because then you have full control over the moderation and stuff like that. But definitely in the future, it's something we have planned. It's just fairly tricky to do in a good way. Here we have, will Modrinth servers be manageable in the Modrinth app? Um, and the simple answer to that is yes, eventually. We kind of already touched on that a little bit. It's mainly a case of having to uh, do a fair bit of refactoring of like the front end panel and stuff. Um, and that just takes some time. And then of course we also want to, when we bring it to the Modrinth app, we also want it to support like the panel to support other things like being able to host like a server locally instead of through us and stuff like that. But definitely that's one of the key reasons that we did Modrinth servers is because you can have that tight app integration and um, yeah. I don't know if you had anything else to add, Fetch. Sorry, I stole your question.
Right, I thought it was your question, but no. Yeah, we're definitely wanting to. Basically, our goal is for modern servers to be fully manageable on the app. You wouldn't even need to go to the website. So
Coolbot, you want to take this next one?
Yeah. So, FTB mods. A lot of people would like to see them on Modrinth, and I'm sure there's a dozen or hundreds of other mods that a lot of you are like, why isn't this on Modrinth? And short answer is, it's not up to us. We unfortunately can't really force anyone to upload their projects onto Modrinth, but if the FTB team wanted to, we'd be more than welcoming.
Yeah, would be nice.
If they need help transferring files, they can let us know.
Yeah, if you're on the FTB team and you want to make the move to Modrinth, reach out. We'll help you out.
This next question: how is the progress about adding or adding support for the Bedrock edition of Minecraft? Is there any other information you could provide regarding the state of it? Um, so this is one thing that kind of our priorities have changed on a little bit. Um, we've really decided that like for now we just really want to focus on making the platform as good for Java edition content as we can. And so we've kind of put this on the back burner a little bit. Um, Eventually, we probably will get back to supporting this, but I think right now there's just a lot that we can do with Java that we have planned, and I don't know. It just is going to be splitting our focus a bit to try to support this and all the stuff that comes along with it. Um, so for now, we have a little bit of a pause on that. Are there more statistics coming for mod creators in the near future regarding mod packs? It would be nice to see have a little bit insight into which mod packs my mods are used in. This is definitely something that it's another one of like those really highly requested features that people always talk about. I think it's something that we definitely want to have, and I really do think we should probably get that implemented pretty soon, because it isn't even that tricky. I know we had implemented it in development at one point, and there were like some minor performance issues, but really I think we should focus on getting that implemented because that would be really useful. Um, yeah,
Do you want me to take this one?
sure.
Right, so when will the performance problem be fixed on the Linux version of the Modrinth app? As a Linux user, I am painfully aware of this. It turns out that Alex, you'll see him over on the stage over there, figured out why exactly it happens. It's the environment variable webkit underscore disable underscore DMA buff underscore render. Um, if you are installing the app on some platforms like on Arch Linux, which I use Arch by the way, it will automatically set that environment variable to the value 1, but on certain CPU or certain GPUs, sorry, that's what causes it to lag. You need to set it to 0 instead. Like on my system, just changing that one environment variable fixes it entirely. So it's one of those things that Alex is going to be looking into that a bit more to see how we can package it for certain GPUs or certain whatever else so that it works properly for everyone, hopefully. But Linux support in general is just very difficult for us to have because of how different each platform and each distro and each X11 versus Wayland, all that sort of stuff is very difficult for us to do. I see one comment in the chat, just rewrite in Rust, problem solved. It is already written in Rust. That has not solved our problem.
All right, so this one's a big one. With the new servers being operated in-house and not hosted by Pyro, slightly concerned about the server's performance and that it'll run as fast. So we know a lot of people have been concerned about stability and uptime and performance with all the changes that happened with who's managing modern servers. So we know for sure that performance is still going to be as good as before. We're still using hardware that's just as good as it was before. In fact, a big reason of why we decided to move servers being managed by us in-house is to fix performance issues and CPU allocation issues. So now we're actually moving servers to be hosted on a more reliable provider. So within the next few weeks, we're working hard towards that. Within the next few weeks, we should move everybody's server to our new data center, which should really improve uptime, performance, and all stability issues a lot of people might have had before. We've also added CPU bursting to help improve TPS and any sort of lag spikes that might occur. So with now that we're operating servers in-house, we're doing a lot of work towards better stability and uptime. So yeah.
I love what we're noting. Fetch here came over from Pyro and is the person who's been working on it the whole time. So it's not like a crazy shift.
Yeah.
Kubot, you want this one?
Yeah, so kind of similar to the last question we had about how to get content featured. This is asking, have you considered doing featured mod packs, resource packs, data packs, and etc. as well as the featured mods? And the short answer is we do. In the featured volumes and on our Project of the Week posts, you will see the occasional resource pack, plugin, or data pack. I believe our most recent one featured a puzzle solving data pack. We previously featured a mod pack that was emulating some of the gameplay of the Stanley Parable. We do feature these projects, but mods just tend to be the most punchy, and we also get a lot of mod submissions. Mods are one of the most popular projects on Modrinth, as you probably could have guessed. So they just tend to get featured more often. Again, it's something that we want to get more consistent with, and hopefully in the future, as we work on both discovery features and also stuff that we're doing for the community to help get more content in front of people's eyes, that will hopefully have a way of getting that evened out a little bit, where you do see more mod packs and resource packs getting their chance in the spotlight too.
All right, here's a question. Why do you still post on X? I mean, unfortunately, people still use it. We try to push people to other platforms, mainly like Blue Sky and Mastodon. Um, we even post on Tumblr. We post on YouTube community posts. We really post everywhere. But unfortunately, still provides reach that we don't get those other places. But we do try to get people. Yeah, we have a Tumblr. Yeah, we try to get people to move to other things. Will Modrinth have ever support other loaders like Legacy Fabric and Risugami's mod loader? In the Modrinth app itself, it's possible. But we don't have great support for these on the website as is. There's not, especially for like mod loader. There's there's not like a standard format for mods. Like usually every mod had its own installation instructions, usually involving some form of uh, unzipping and putting it all in the jar manually. But
Don't forget to delete meta imp.
yeah, so that one in particular would be pretty hard to support in a launcher. We'd probably have to come up with some sort of like standardized way to instruct like the app how to install these mods, which I don't know, it would be rather difficult, and a lot of these mods, I don't know, just aren't supported by people anymore. You know, they're just really old, and yeah, that would be rather difficult. As far as like Legacy Fabric and other like more niche mod loaders, I think definitely in the future, it's probably something we'd want to support, especially and I'd support for like in Modrinth pack and other stuff. Um, but yeah, I think it's definitely something that we probably it's not something that we don't want to do. It's just not something that is particularly easy to do. Um, Here we have a question: is Modrinth coding a reliable way to earn money via making mods, plugins, etc.? I would say probably not, even though it's definitely our goal to make people like get like rewarded for the stuff that they do. Um, However, there's like a lot of factors involved in how revenue gets uh, distributed out to creators, depending on like um, the advertising market and your project's popularity in particular, how popular Minecraft is. Like it, there's a lot of factors that go into that, and I personally wouldn't suggest like relying on it for like paying your bills or rent or anything, but I definitely think it's like a great um, additional like supplemental income, and that's what I use modding for. Um, but yeah.
Also, do note that if you want to rely on moderate income in any way, just remember that if you make more than, I think it's $600 in a year, you need to report that to the IRS, and they steal like 20 or 25% of it, which is not pleasant.
So I believe our next question is going to be, what are your thoughts on AI generated content, things like the thumbnails, logos, descriptions, and artwork, and will it ever be unallowed on Modrinth? So this is kind of a complicated question to answer. I'll say I wouldn't use generative AI. I think a lot of us wouldn't use generative AI in that sort of way on our mods. Um, but as of right now, we don't really have any plans to prohibit it, and it would be really difficult for us to in the first place. Just from a moderation perspective, the time and effort it would take to prove that someone is, using generative AI for something would be really difficult, and it would be something that we would feel terrible getting wrong. Um, and I will say, with something like an AI generated description, it's something that we already do look at very critically. It's something that when we see a description that looks like it's been written by ChatGPT, we go over it with a fine tooth comb, and we still don't allow you to lie in your description, even if it's an AI lying for you. We do see some like okay uses of generative AI to write descriptions. Specifically, a lot of the international community who English isn't their first language will use an AI to help them translate their description, and those tend tend to be okay. That is something that we do like to see as an accessibility tool. But if you use generative AI to make a logo or make gallery images for your project, and those gallery images aren't actually a screenshot of your game or doing something that your mod can't do, then you absolutely cannot and should not be doing that.
Here's another question. Do you consider accepting code contributions to be worth it in regards to time usage, code review, etc.? And this one's a little complicated to answer because there there've been like a lot of pull requests people submitted that are just like small bug fixes or really minor improvements, and those are always great because we just get to implement them and get those fixes out quicker without taking like the team's time. But sometimes people will try to open fairly like large pull requests with um like adding new features or just rather large like uh, multi-feature pull requests or just going all over the code base, and a lot of those are really difficult to review, and a lot of the times they end up just sitting for a while because like obviously our team has like roadmap items that we're trying to hit, and we're trying to we're pretty, we try to be organized within ourselves, but then when we have other
We
people coming
try.
in, and we try when we have other people coming in, uh like just like trying to disrupt us from our roadmap, kind of, or not trying to, but and they end up disrupting us from our roadmap because we're in the middle of something, and then we have to get off track to review that, and then obviously it usually requires a lot of work from us to try to get that pull request into shape, and a lot of the times we end up having to like rewrite it all anyway, and so generally I would say stick to pretty small pull requests if you want to contribute.
Yeah, we spend a lot more time refactoring and rewriting code than we probably should. Um, you'll notice that the our internal name for our launcher backend is Theseus, and I think that name is very apt, just because of how many times code has been written and replaced and all that jazz.
All right, here's a question. What are some of your biggest plans going forward for Modrinth? Um, I think immediately one of the biggest focuses, things we're focused on. Obviously, I mentioned the skin manager earlier. That should come pretty soon. And then we're also working on bringing uh, more features to the Modrinth app, including like support for like viewing like user pages and orgs and all that. Collections, that's a big one. Uh, but and then more than that, we also mentioned the shared instances, so you can share instances with your friends and more easily uh, play with other people. And I do think we have a pretty big focus on like enabling people to play together. A lot like, well, I mean, this event sponsored by Modern Servers, and I mean, look at all the people here. So I think we want to be able to enable more like multiplayer experiences, and uh, and that's something that's rather difficult usually with modding because you have to get everyone synced up and on the same versions of the same mod sets and everything, and of course you have to sync it up with the server as well. And I think we're in a pretty good position to be able to uh like be the one to manage like the syncing between all of that. And so that's kind of a big focus for us. And probably another thing, which I think was another question, but I actually don't think it ended up in the list, was something about like a server list. But yeah, we kind of want to have like a public server list of public server experiences that are like verified to be good and not and like safe and all that. So yeah, that's kind of our immediate roadmap, and part of why we decided to put Bedrock support on the back burner, because it just seems like we have so much more that we can do before we get there. Here's a question that says, how much does Modrinth make per year? And yeah, so we can't really say that right now, unfortunately, but we will reiterate that we do have all of our advertising revenue public on the website, and currently that and the creator revenue portion of that at about 5 to 7K right now per day. So yeah.
It's enough for us to keep us all employed.
So, will modern servers ever have a free plan? So we don't plan on offering a free plan, basically just because we want to keep modern servers quality very high. We want to offer the best possible service. And yeah, there's already a bunch of other services that do free hosting, and again, we want to implement world hosting into the Modrinth app itself, so we don't really want to compromise the quality of modern servers and have a free plan, because yeah, other options. All right. So, is there going to be a feature to add trusted friends, partners, basically multiple users to use the Modern Service Panel? And yes, that's actually like the most requested feature it's easily the most requested feature we've gotten. So very soon we're going to start working on that. We have some really cool ideas with regard to that. So yeah, definitely coming soon. Coming soon.
Will we get better mod pack sharing support between small friend groups when adding a new mod or updating some existing ones? Or updating some existing one, our friends should be able to imitate them instead of being prompted to reinstall the mod pack. And actually, yeah, I kind of spoiled this earlier, but yeah, we're working on adding shared instances, which will basically let one person be in control of the instance, and that will sync to everyone else. And we also want to get that integrated with modern servers, so you could run a server, have it all on the app, managed by like one instance essentially. Now, unfortunately, Jay's still not here. We're gonna have him answer this one, but I mean, I can speak just because I joined pretty early in 2020 when Modern started, um, and for me, I wouldn't say that there was like a straw that broke the camel's back, but I think we just were pretty unhappy with how things were over at CurseForge, and this was like really before, like work on Modern kind of started before Overwolf even bought them, and so it's kind of just more long-standing just issues and lack of innovation and stuff. And so we just wanted to build something from the ground up. And I know in the beginning we made a lot of promises, and for a while people felt like we hadn't really been delivering on them because it's like, oh, like this small startup is making all these promises, and but over the years, like I feel like we have delivered a pretty successful platform overall. And yeah, so I really feel like that we have achieved basically all and much far beyond the major goals that we thought that we were setting out to achieve in the beginning. And so now we're able to do some, I don't know, some really cool things. Like really, modded servers is something that from like the foundation of the Modrinth app, it's something that we wanted to do, but we didn't really think that we could pull it off. But we have, and we are, and we're continuing to. So yeah. If I want to download every mod, texture pack, and shader, how much space would I need on my computer? So I pulled up the the CDN, and obviously this is a little bit more than just content, but the CDN is about it just crossed 9 terabytes. So you need that much. And honestly, it is not a lot. But then I guess if you think about if you had to serve that data to everyone, how much bandwidth you would need to be able to like serve that over the network to everyone. And that's why we're serving, I think we're at 2 petabytes a month now of data sending out to people. Because if you just imagine all those files being downloaded by all those people, it's quite a lot. Here's another one that we were hoping that Jay would answer. Modrinth started as a community project. What advice would you give to people who want to start up similar community projects that you wish someone told you when you first started? And I think the main thing I would say is like you just kind of got to do it. Like a lot of people, I feel like it's easy to look at a project and say like, oh, like I could have done that or something, but I mean, the main thing is like like a lot of people that say that don't end up doing it, and so like the big difference between like a successful project and one that isn't is just someone actually did it and kept up with it.
If you want it to stay a community project, don't give in to the temptation to do venture capital funding.
That too. Where did the name Modrinth come from? Unfortunately, I actually don't exactly know where the original name came from. This is another thing I was hoping Jake could answer.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I, I, I mean, yeah, it does like Modrinth comes from Labyrinth, but I don't know what exactly inspired the Labyrinth theme. But yeah, we kind of have like all our code names are based in like Greek mythology and stuff, and yeah, it's I think it's a cool theme. Um, but I don't
Our
know.
our first name before we were Modrinth was Fabricate. I don't know where that comes from either, but I thought it was worth mentioning.
Yeah, well, yeah, Modern started out as a small project in the Fabric Discord. If you look up um like old messages in the showcase channel, you'll see back when it was like some raw HTML and stuff. It's kind of funny. Um, okay, with the introduction of modern servers, you've placed a de facto sponsorship on all mods uploaded to the platform. As mods drive engagement to the site, and engagement to the site helps users discover modded servers. What's the status of distributing a share of these proceeds back to the creator community? Um, I will say I don't entirely agree that we've placed a sponsorship on all the mods because I think like just because you're downloading the mods on the same site doesn't necessarily mean that. However, we definitely do plan to still contribute a portion like the servers to the content that gets installed on the servers, which could end up being pretty significant for a lot of creators and might end up being more worth it than a lot of the sponsorships creators end up taking with other companies. Because everything on Modrinth would just be like automatic. But I d- I don't know exactly where we are on like the timeline of implementing that. Um, but it's definitely something that we're working on, and now that modern servers are fully in-house, it makes that a lot more possible versus before when we were having to split the revenue more directions. Um, so I think it's definitely something that will come sooner rather than later. Here we have, will there be subscription-based model? Will there be subscription-based model for mods? For example, Dr. 42 Patreon mods. Uh, the simple answer to this is probably not. For a few reasons, because firstly, it's fairly controversial in the community to be selling mods, and it's a gray area in the Minecraft's commercial guidelines. And also, I just don't necessarily think that it would make the modded Minecraft space better if there was a bunch of paid content on the regular, and it would make making mod packs very difficult. Um, and so yeah, I think one of Modern's main goals is to make content freely available and accessible for everyone, and still let them monetize it uh, through all the ways that we do have to monetize through ads, through Modrinth Plus, and then in the future, Modrinth servers. I do think we want to offer like donations, the ability to donate to people on the site in the future. Um, and possibly with that could come some things like maybe early access or something, as long as it's guaranteed to be public at some point. But or maybe we could have like a API for like creators adding like cosmetics or something for their supporters. I don't know. But generally we just don't plan to support paywall mods. So I think we have one last question. Emma, do you have anything to say on this topic?
You'll notice that we have an emoji in our Discord server that is titled Hawaiian Pizza. As a result of that, I think it is very clear that, yes, we are in a demonic cult that participates in eating pineapple on pizza. Before any of your mods can get approved, actually, all of the moderators have to do a secret ceremony in which all of them eat an entire pineapple pizza, like a 12-inch pizza, in a span of 3 seconds. So, yes.
I don't know if I necessarily agree. I mean, I think it's like okay. I just not my preferred pizza, that's for sure.
Prospector, I can kick you out of the Discord server. Actually, no, I don't think I
I
can.
don't think you can.
But I want to.
Anyway, I think that's all the questions. It's been almost an hour. I don't know. I guess did anyone have any last minute questions that you didn't get to submit or anything? When Modrinth 2? Not very soon. Especially if you're talking about Modrinth app, because we haven't even hit version 1 yet. Same with Modrinth servers, it's still in beta. Um,
I will answer for ARM. We have not. I don't think we will soon because it's kind of like not explored, but interesting.
We did get one question that was, why did Modern come into existence? I only asked because I know that there's already Curseforge, and I'm genuinely curious why there was another mod distribution site made. In a capitalist system, competition is key. That's really all I have to say about that.
yeah, you don't want lack of competition because then they get complacent.
And I think that over the past couple of years, Curseforge has improved massively, and I don't know if that's our fault, but I think
think
it's a
it
good thing
definitely
for the
is.
community as a whole.
Yeah, I mean they have like directly taken some of our features from our in development branches before, which is interesting.
So it looks like
There's another question. Will the ability to see mod dependencies and mod dependents like add-ons be added? That's something that we covered earlier, but it is something that we have planned. It's just not something that we've put the time into implementing yet. It would actually be pretty easy. But it just takes time.
I saw one question about if there would be a page to view all project types at once with a search field. That actually is planned. Probably can implement it pretty soon. The main thing is, uh, like each project type has its own filters, so I guess you probably just wouldn't show filters on that page or something. I don't know how exactly that would work, but that's something we have planned, yeah.
It looks like somebody in stream, I believe, asked about kind of a way of sharing files and syncing files directly with people, and that is something we covered earlier in the Q&A. That yes, we do have a plan for that. If maybe Prospector, you want to talk more about that again.
Let's see. I think. Wait. Oh yeah. So yeah, we're gonna add shared instances, but I think is this question about sharing files between different instances? Like yeah,
I'm
like
pretty sure
settings and
there's a
roles
mod
and
for that.
servers. Yeah, I think there is a mod for that. I think that probably would be something that would make sense for the Modrinth app to have, like especially if you want to have like default settings that get copied into all your instances or something. I think that's a pretty good idea and probably something that we would do.
There's one in the stream chat. Does Prospector want to comment on Mod Benny's project icon? This is also something I'm curious about.
Oh, it's a rebrand. Yeah, it's just redesigned it earlier. I mean, I guess you could call it a D brand.
Interesting. Are high contrast themes planned for the Modrinth website and application? That would be possible. Prospector, do you want to comment on this one?
Wait, what was the question?
Are high contrast themes planned for the Modrinth website and app?
What themes? Sorry, I didn't catch
A
that.
high contrast.
Oh, high contrast. I think we do have decent support for like when like I think the browser can request high contrast themes, and I tried to make it support it pretty well, but we could probably add dedicated themes for that. Yeah. All right. Well, I think that's probably about it. Oh, you can hold R on the page and you can blindly select a mod if you want. Okay. Well, I think that's everything.
All right.
Have a good day.
Cool.
Bye.
Farewell.